side to this. All of the memberships at the club are equity memberships. You all understand what that means? You own a piece of the pie, and if you resign from the club and there's someone to replace you, you get how much? 50% of the sale price of the person that replaces you. Right now we have 15 openings of people who have resigned the club and just walked away. We have 15 people who are on the resigned list wanting to in fact have someone replace them. So think about yourselves individually. If we fill the club up and there's a waiting list of one person outside, all of your memberships became more valuable. Because now when you resign, there's a person standing there with a check to buy your membership. You don't have to keep paying dues until your membership sells. So there's an economic side for the good of the club, and it's also good for you. It's another reason that we want to, in fact, have a full membership. And then the price of memberships continues to rise. The club gets their half, you get your half as you resign. It's a very wonderful financial benefit. So I apologize for missing that in my notes in my mind and going past that when I was talking about the economics of the club. One of the most compelling aspects of this marketing program, we're calling it the showcase aspect of the club. I've worked with La Jolla Country Club, I've worked with the Bridges, I've worked with Medina Country Club, Conway Farms. Again, clubs have held Ryder Cups, PGA Championships, US Open. I've got a client in San Francisco who's $850,000 to join the club. I have 2 clients right now whose pedigree I'm not allowed to tell you who they are. And the concept I'm getting ready to share with you, I use with every single club across the United States, regardless of pedigree or initiation fee. I tell my best friend that they do not have to put the initiation fee up front. We're going to showcase the club and have them have a chance to try it out. I hate the words trial membership, but if it walks like a duck and it quacks like a duck, but we don't like it. So, but I like to call it that we're going to showcase the club. So I would say to Scott, I've given you my invitation packet. Consider it. The initiation fee is $22,500. The neat thing is, you just try it out for a year. Make sure you like the club. Make sure you fit in. Make sure you're enjoying yourself at the club. At the end of the year, and during that time, you will pay all dues, fees, charges, etc., just like you were a full member of the club, but you will not have paid an initiation fee until the end of 12 months. And here is the persuasive side of it. I will then tell Scott, oh, by the way, and again, I should be role-playing differently since you're the membership director. If I was inviting my friend, you would get a phone call from Scott within the first 60 days. And if you buy your membership in the first 60 days, instead of $22,500, the initiation fee is $15,000. Instead of having to pay the initiation fee in full, you can pay half at that time, half in 1 year. Our conversion rate of the individuals who accept an invitation, fill out their paperwork, bring it to the board for approval and membership committee, and say they'll be a member for 12 months and buy their membership in the first 60 days, 94%. I've done this for 29 years, 1,500 clubs. Our conversion rate is 94%. And I will tell you, I know that because I'm paid on performance. I've been recognized as the membership marketing firm of the year for the last 19 years. Golf Digest recognized as the membership marketing firm of the year the last 2 years. I've got a good pedigree in the industry. But every club doesn't want to pay on my pedigree. They want to have us working collaboratively, Scott and myself, with you. And the only way my company is compensated is if you invite someone to join, and in the first 60 days, they buy the membership. If they do not, my company is not compensated. So it's important for you to understand that I'm not here, and Scott and I go back a long way, and I say, gosh, Scott, you just paid me this big fee because we're really good at what we do. We're really good at what we do as we collaborate with management, with yourself, and put the process together. And then there is a nice small gift as well. If you invite someone to join the club, so Scott will be inviting you and your fiance to join the club, and you do join the club, I would enjoy a $1,000 credit gift card, as would the new member coming to the club would also enjoy a gift card. 1,500, I beg your pardon. Thank you, Scott. So the sponsor gets 1,000, correct? And the new member gets $1,500. That only occurs if it occurs in the first 60 days. So let me recap. Your club is in a phenomenal position. Scott is a very talented membership director that wants to help all of you bring your friends into the club. All we would like to ask you to do is to think of individuals that you know and invite them. My 36-year-old son who works for me, I've noticed that there's some younger folks in the audience tonight. He told me, he said, "Hey Dad, this technology thing, it's not a fad." So your invitation packet is also electronic form. So if you've got friends who are in the desert right now, and you've got friends who are any place in the United States, and you don't want to in fact mail them your packet, Scott will give you the electronic link of this exact same packet and send it to your friends so they can get it electronically. So anything you can possibly do to in fact invite your friends. So in recapping, all we're asking everybody to do is think of individuals that they know. And between now and July 31st is where this program runs. But as Scott and I talked about it before, I've got clients that are in the top 100 golf courses, country clubs in the United States, that we've worked with them 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 years in a row. It's like weight loss. You must continue, which I'm not very good at. You must continue to eat well, you must continue to exercise, or you'll have to start buying bigger suits, like I do. If the private club industry does not, in fact, continue to recognize this in the membership replacement business, you'll always find yourself 5, 10, 15 members short of full, but that's really 31, 32, 33 members short of full because of the 7% attrition. So as you leave tonight, we have packets, personalized packets for all of you to take home. We hope that you will contemplate individuals that you know that you would think would be a wonderful addition to the club and give them their packet to them, either in person or electronically. And then I beg you to tell Scott who they are, so that he can in fact help you to in fact call up the husbands and the wives, invite them to come out and meet people at the club, arrange a golf game for them, arrange for the women to in fact have a group that they're playing with. Bring the family into the organization, which is what this gentleman is superb at, is the rapport of helping your friends to assimilate into the club. All they have to do is fill out an application and say that they would like to be, in fact, a member for 12 consecutive months. Remember, that is not an indication of them being a lesser individual. It's an indication of graciousness on a club that knows how wonderful it is and sells itself. And I think you'll be amazed that 94% conversion rate might be higher than that. And there's a strong probability, I was sharing with Scott, both Scotts, this marketing program either has a garden hose effect or a fire hose effect. We understand that your club is full at 300, and so the board, the management team, and secretary is going to be very much monitoring this program. If it has a garden hose effect, we feel as though by the time we get to July 31st, we'll probably be full with a wait list. Many clubs, as elite and quality as the farms, end up having a fire hose effect of people coming in quickly into the club, and you may see us coming in saying we're actually getting close to full and a wait list, and we will keep you abreast of that, so that for those of you who are worried about availability of facilities, the club's not going to oversell memberships. At this juncture, I'd be happy, Scott and I would be happy to answer any questions that you might have with regard to the concepts, how it works, how you can participate, and what we can help you to understand.
I think everybody has their phone with them. I'd like you to look inside your phone, find a name that you would like to send this packet to. All right? No, seriously, are there any questions? Yes.
For those that we invite and they don't join within the first 60 days, what kind of a percentage of membership success is there for those that wait 12 months and decide to join?
The question that was posed is, if you have a 94% conversion rate and there's 6% that at the 60-day mark say, we're just not ready yet. what happens to those? And number one, they're still obliged to maintain their relationship for 10 more months. So they don't get to the 60-day mark and say, oh, it didn't work out. Thanks so much, Nancy and I are just going to go on our way. You've signed your friends have signed an agreement that says, since we're setting the initiation fee aside, they must be members for 12 months. The number of people who do not buy their membership in the first 60 days and buy their membership at the end is almost none. What has happened is they said, thank you very much. It was a longer drive from my house than I realized. I couldn't find this or that. The golf course was too easy, the golf course was too hard. Whatever their reasons were, they typically don't change during that time. Occasionally there'll be a story that they had something going on in their lives and they couldn't make a decision yet, but almost none of them ever buy at the end.
And I'll be sure to be contacting them within those 60 days, checking in on them, making sure that they've got a game. That's what Mr. Cannon and I are working on with the membership committee, contacting a lot of you who are new members that are here. I know have already been contacted by the membership committee to make sure, hey, have you played yet? Have you got a game? Have you had lunch? So I'll be very mindful of everyone that's in this program and hopefully steering them towards that decision prior to 60 days.
Yes, ma'am.
I'm just curious about the thought of showcasing the farms to these new members during the reconstruction period of the bunkers.
Well, the nice thing is they're going to ask, well, do I have to pay for anything? It's already paid for. And that's going to be a nice thing to tell them. We're doing all these things and it's already paid for. So if we didn't pay for it yet and they might think that we're trying to lure them in for something else, but it'll be nice when they see these bunkers and they're already paid.
And following along with your point, which Scott answered very well, is while you're doing the bunker project, the brilliance of the showcase aspect of this is it allows a person to find out what are the capital project desires of the club. And what are you going to be doing to continue to further the club? The bunkers that are going in, and quite frankly, they're getting kind of a under construction reduction on the initiation fee from $22,500 to $15,000. Ladies and gentlemen, and I don't say these things lightly, my candor gets me in trouble. You are not a $15,000 initiation fee club. You're not a $22,000 initiation fee club. You're a $35,000, $40,000 initiation fee club. But the laws of supply and demand must get you there, not ego, not pride. It always has to be having more people desiring the club than there are spots available, and then you see the initiation fee continue to rise. And the economic times that we're in, and the confidence level that people have, we're seeing initiation fees all across the United States rising, but only through velocity, not through ego, not through desire. It has to be through velocity. And so we anticipate, quite frankly, that your friends are seeing that they're kind of getting we got some bunker renovation, discount going on right now. They'll understand that as this gets done, we're hopefully going to be playing off that number going up. Sir?
Yeah, so you talked a little bit about initiation fees rising across the country. Can you talk a little bit about industry trends? I mean, we've seen in the last 10 years, there's a lot of golf shrinking a little bit, but that includes the public golf and not as much private. You have a view into the private clubs. How do you see the national private club network? Is it growing? Is it pretty stagnant? Specifically Southern California, do you think we're in a sort of a good environment to be able to easily recruit? I think we are, but that's just anecdotal. I don't work in the industry.
Yes, and private clubs are flourishing with with club leadership that are proactive, that are investing in their clubs. Ladies and gentlemen, we all have these things, but here's what's happened nationwide. If you're not at home and you're not at work, where do you socialize?
Right here.
The private club industry still has a monopoly. And I'm being very serious. Other than, occasionally you might go to a Panera or, some places where they got their laptops open. But if you're not at home and you're not at work and you want to socialize, there are very few places still in the United States. Of the $100 million of memberships we sold, 60 million were to people under age 40. Oh, millennials don't want private clubs. Yes, they do. They absolutely do. Millennials who are successful, particularly like golf. But you know what they really enjoy? They love to be invited They love an exit strategy if it doesn't work out. And they love the concept of what Frank had talked about, of the camaraderie of the club. The private club industry is flourishing. It's the clubs that have decided in 2008 to cut back to make it through that time. They're dying. So it's the mid-tier and high-tier clubs that are just absolutely pouring in and getting waiting lists into their club. And I will tell you, I'm a pretty effective salesman. I've owned my company for 29 years. If I saw the industry churning away, I'd be selling something else, because it's how I make my living for my family. And so I'm very bullish on it. And what is your opinion that you're seeing?
Thank you. I was going to say, you know, being in this San Diego now for three years, I know all the clubs. I know what the pros and the cons are of them. And it's pretty easy to identify or qualify that person on the phone if this is going to be the right club for them. And 9 out of 10 times, this is the right club for them. The junior executives, they come, they play it, this is it. One time and give me the app and let's go. So this is a special property. Scott and I were talking about this as a special property. It's a special property. It is truly a special property. This is unique to this golf course. Is better than San Luis. And forgive me if there's any San Luis members here. Sorry, or you were San Luis. Bridges. It's just over the top. You can't walk it. You don't want to deal with the owner of Del Mar. We're not going to Fairbanks. The Crosby. Who knows what's going on with the Crosby? So it really limits the club choices. Sorry, Mr. Nasser. So it really limits the amount of choices. And let's face it, we're all here for a reason. We love golf. We love to get in, get out, have a game, have a great time with our friends, and let's continue that. We've got a great product.
But it's only the clubs that are taking a proactive approach and having these conversations. A gentleman said to me one time, the toughest message the club president ever presents to the membership is, how are we doing? If Frank said to you tonight, we're only 15 members away from full, we're doing fantastic, everybody would say, great, let's have a drink. We're great. If he says to you, we're 30 members down, everybody says, it's the bunker on 6. And so all of a sudden it manifests itself into somebody did something wrong. No, 7% of your members leave for nothing you did wrong whatsoever, so you have to be proactive. And I believe you had a question?
Oh, I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm Scotty. So we have like 70 or 80 members here, or the numbers. That leaves another 320 or so that aren't together. So we're going to be emailing a link to the packet out to
Yes.
all members.
I think they're going to get the hard copy and the link, and I'll have more hard copies as well.
So we've got everybody's got a packet back there. We've got 200 extra packets. And then on Monday of next week, everybody that was here, everybody's not here, beg your pardon, is going to get an email that says we have this wonderful program, your packet's coming, and here's the electronic link, so everybody will get that first thing next week. I saw it again. Yes, sir. Thank you. Yes, sir.
He was asking if I give a packet to my friend, and he says, well, why should I join the farms and not the Bridges or the Fairbanks Ranch or wherever? Well, it's, first of all, we'd like to have him out as our guest, right? So we're going to bring him out and play golf. And then we're going to kind of get a feel for it right there. If this is going to, the guy is saying, hey, I had a great time here. Now we can slide that packet over to him. If you're uncomfortable about handing a packet to somebody that has not played here before, please bring them out as our guest. Not only are you going to get a gift certificate for a round of golf for that guest, but even if you don't use, even if you already use it, you have somebody later down the road, please call me. Say, hey, I've got Joe Bob, he's ready to come try out the club, and then we'll have a better idea if he's the right fit. Absolutely, you can hand this to him. I'll get his information from you, and I'll have him out as our guest, or if you want to bring him out as our guest. Absolutely, I do that all the time.
Yes, sir.
The question was, do we have a solution for families that may not be golfers that want to join the club?
One golfer, so there's an organized families because they have the pool. You don't have that. We've heard that we might have some kind of partnership kind of thing, solution, maybe.
We're working on that, but I usually find out pretty early on in that conversation with somebody, what are you looking for? Do you have a wife? Do you guys need kids? Do you have kids? Do you need that kind of family thing? And they're like, yeah, the wife needs to be at the pool. I need to have the kids have daycare. You know what? Let me give you Kelly Collins' number up at San Luis. I think it might be a good fit there. So I'm not going to waste their time nor mine trying to get them in there, because what's going to happen is even if I do have them with the showcase, they'll be done in 12 months. They'll be miserable.
Real quick, kind of back to the previous question. One of the neatest things about this place, and Scotty's been talking about it, is once somebody comes out here, and it probably happened to every one of you when you first came here, when you come through those gates, it's amazing, right? I mean, it's the beauty, the golf course, the feeling, the vibe. I mean, I feel like I go to a resort every day when I go to work. And I can't imagine what it would be like when you all drive in. It's just got to be like, everything melts away when you go through that gate, right? So my feeling is, as we look at it, we could sell to everybody. We wouldn't sell. Everyone would want to join this club if they knew how wonderful it was. But what do? We put giant fences and gates around the place. We don't let anybody in, right? Nobody sees it. So we need you to help get those eyes on this beautiful property so that people can feel what you all felt when you came and saw it and went, wow, I just kind of want to spend every moment I can here. And you end up, playing too much golf and having too much fun with all your friends and coming up with club nights and doing all these great things. So I think really that's one of the key things, especially with private clubs. I mean, most of them have got giant gates and fences, and we don't let anybody in. So we got to get them out here, because when they see it and feel it, we don't have to sell anything. They usually walk in with the application.
It was one of my notes that I went over. This is a personal club. The friendship that you have here, Scott pointed out so well. One of my notes was, all you've got to do is get people here. When you get people here, they're not going to leave. But if they never get here, they're not going to have that opportunity. Yes, sir, you're so patient.
Give them something to late.
Ladies and gentlemen, if I may, I'd like to conclude by thanking you, and I apologize for taking a little bit more of your time than I anticipated. We're very grateful for your turnout. We're grateful for your questions. I'm going to conclude with a risky proposition, if you guys weren't aware of this. But you've heard about the showcase program. You've heard about the reasons that the program is being designed for the good of the club, for the good of each of you. I'm going to ask you a very specific question. You're not a bad person if you don't raise your hand. I'm not trying to embarrass anybody, but you've heard the components of the program, how simple it is. Would you raise your hand if someone specific, while we were talking tonight, has popped into your head that you think you could either pack it out and have them at least try out the farms? Would you raise your hand high? Now I got bad news. If you're all thinking about the same guy or gal, I would drive to their house tonight. But ladies and gentlemen, you really do only have about 30 openings. You have a phenomenal club. If you take this very seriously, you're going to see the farms continue to flourish, continue to be the club, as Scott pointed out, of choice in this area, and everybody else will be wondering what the farm has been doing. And I will conclude with one other thing. You're a golf club, sing from the rooftops. The golf clubs across the United States are just flourishing. We're not trying to be something that they aren't. Sometimes, as you pointed out, it's just not the fit. So I know that your golf course superintendent, your golf team, your management team, the pro shop downstairs is wanting to have this be the finest golf experience in the United States. They're devoted to that for you. You need to keep following that path. Ladies and gentlemen, your packets are there as you leave. I bring your gift certificates for your round of golf. Thank you all very much. It was very kind of you to come tonight. Thank you.